Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and I am going to tag a video here done by Dave over at Church Media Creators, friend of the channel, and they're talking about the changes that Facebook has implemented as of February 19th, 2025, that if you live stream to Facebook, those videos will only exist for 30 days. After that, they will be immediately deleted. So that made me sit back and think about something that I've done a long time ago that I do here currently, and to kind of combat all this stuff, because we always talk about it, when you're playing in somebody else's playground, if they decide to change the rules, you got to go along with the rules or get your own playground. So with that being said, I wanted to introduce and talk about why I really think that your church needs to have a NAS. What is a NAS? A NAS is a network attached storage. It's just like a USB hard drive, but it's just connected to your network. And some NASs allow you to do more than just store stuff on your network. It actually lets you do smart, intelligent things to kind of optimize everything on your network for your church, your business, for your home. I actually run 3 of these myself to back up my phone and tablet photos, my business stuff, tax information, client information, all the videos I do with YouTube. But again, y'all know I'm a preacher's kid. So I've been in church my entire life, and a NAS, the best way I can compare this is if you used to, at your old church, if they used to record everything on cassette tapes, I'm sure you got a filing cabinet somewhere with a whole bunch of cassette tapes. That's pretty much what this is. It's just a digital version of that. So I want to walk you through setting up a NAS for a church and kind of give you an example. This is actually the very first NAS that I ever started with, and I believe this is the Synology, I keep getting the model wrong, the DS216J. This is an older one, but guess what? It still does what it needs to do. And yeah, you can get some fancier ones. There are plenty of other people that make NASs like Ugreen, a bunch of other companies. I reached out to them. None of them ever responded. So you know what we're going to do. We're just going to go for it with what we got. I run 3 Synology NASs, but I want to show you how to set one of these up and how you can set this up for your church to, again, talking about Facebook, to have a place, a centralized location to back up all of the stuff that you may have put on Facebook, all of your recordings moving forward. Because if you've been watching me for any time, I always recommend that you record, not just because your live stream might go down, but just for reasons that you might not understand right now. Always record. And this is going to give you a centralized archive for you to start your backup and have your own cloud stuff and back it up. So again, I already got it open. We're going to open this up, and this is a 2-bay drive. You can add 2 drives into this, and that's what we actually did. I went ahead and ordered 2 4-terabyte hard drives for this. So real simple. It could use 2.5, like the thinner drives, something like these. Again, it's actually still cheaper to get them this size for this stuff, so that's fine. Now, could you use any type of hard drive with this? Yeah, you could, but it's kind of recommended to start and use NAS drives because of their high availability and all this other stuff like that. So I'm not one of those channels that does a deep dive on and graphs and specs and test and analysis on if I use a regular drive compared to a NAS drive. What, I don't do that. You know, I might point you to Hardware Unboxed or you know, any of these other tech channels that focus on this. We're looking for the functionality of what this is going to be used for from a church, and this is just for backing up everything on your network. And we'll show you some other stuff that you can do. So it's real straightforward here. The NAS actually comes with some screws to secure it. So let's open this up real quick. Now, I have other NASs that have more bays. My biggest one that stores all my data for my YouTube channel, that actually has 8 bays, and I have a total of about 60 terabytes of storage space just on that one. Again, we do a lot of stuff, and every single picture I have of my daughter is digital. So I'm like having multiple backups so that I keep all that stuff. Maybe I should print them out, but I got a bunch of pictures. But let's go ahead and go through. That was one drive. I'm gonna put the screws in there to hold it in place. And you can consider these drives kind of like your own personal cloud. Some NASs allow you to set them up on the network so that you can have an app on your phone and you can access it. And that's kind of like how I have mine. It backs up my phone photos instead of it going to Google Drive or Google Photos. So I back all my stuff up locally. But I still use the Google stuff. Again, what's the rule? 3, 2, 1, 3 backups of everything, 2 of them in 2 different locations, and one of those locations is offsite. So I am working on the offsite one. I wanted to kind of set this up at my mom's house and just leave it in the closet somewhere, but my mom loves cleaning up stuff. So she might unplug this stuff and move it somewhere, not knowing what it is. So working on getting an offsite location. And honestly, this is kind of cheaper than it is to buy like an online thing. Now this NAS is going for, I mean, granted it's an older one, but the newer equivalent one is going for about, I think like $190. I have a link down below to that. And the beauty of this is it's just the shell. So you can put whatever type of drives that it supports. And both of these drives I kind of got same day. Like I literally ordered them this morning and they were just delivered maybe about like an hour ago. And each drive was about $90. So personally, for me, 4 terabytes is not enough for the type of data that I'm backing up. But if you're trying to back up, you know, video and stuff like this, this probably may be enough for you. And I am missing a screw, but this is more than secure of where I'm going to place this. All right, we got that on there. Slide it, lock it in place, and then we're going to put this last screw in. I guess I could have zoomed in, but I'm just putting the hard drive in. Lock this in place and secure it. Now this NAS, if you have some like hard drives, USB hard drives, you can hook up 2 of these and kind of taper them off, and you can at least bring the data in, makes it easy to import stuff, or you can, maybe you want to add this to the hard drives that you got and kind of expand it. That's kind of an option that, at least that's how I started. I had a whole bunch of USB hard drives. All right, so again, this is on the network, so we're gonna hook it up to our network here. We're gonna give it some powder. And then we're just gonna power this thing on. There we go. We got a LAN connection. We're just waiting for the 2 disks to show up. Now this is fresh, so we're gonna go through the entire setup with this whole thing. Make sure I have the hard drive seated properly because we wanna make sure everything starts up. All right. So while it's booting up, well, let's go over to the computer so we can see setting this up. And again, I am setting this up as my recommendation because I'm actually donating this to a church. And this is going to be what's going to be used to back up their stuff and put this on the network. And we show you some other fun stuff that I like to do to have this working, because this isn't just for media. You can set this up to back up your church's you know, tax records, make it accessible for public, some stuff for private. We'll go through all that stuff. So there's the beat that it's up. Let's go to the computer and let's check out what else we can finish setting this up. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go over to my browser here. And for the Synology ones, you would just go to find.synology.com and it will search your network for your NAS. And again, we're looking for a DS216J. Did I get that number right? And there it is. So actually it is this one because this is where I had it originally. And this status is not installed because we put brand new drives. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and click connect. We're going to accept all the terms and all this other fun stuff. and we need to install the operating system that's going to run the NAS software. Now, I'm doing this because personally, I think this is the simplest way. And I know some people in the comments are going to be like, well, you can build your own NAS. That video is coming. That's why I started as well, too. So this is for if you don't want to build out your own stuff and get something off the shelf. That's where we're going. Be on the lookout for other ones where we use free NAS and other programs to make your own NAS with an old laptop or old computer you got sitting around. So let's go here. And I think I said 213 is 216J. All right. We're going to automatically download this. It's going to wipe out the drives. That's fine because they were brand new. There's nothing on them anyway. So let's speed ahead, let this go through, and then we'll be back with the next phase of when this is done. All righty, everything is installed. So let's start up the configuration. All right, we're going to need to give it a name. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to call it the disk station. We set up an admin account. Can't use admin. That account is that name is by default disabled, as well as a guest account. Oh. All right. Do you want to allow this to show up on the web presence? I say yes, because that's how it showed up on that Find Synology URL. Go to next. All right, we're going to let it automatically do updates. If you have an account, you can set this up. I have an account, but since this is not going to be mine, I'm not going to link my account to this. So we're going to skip that for right now. I do not want to agree to share data in analytics. All righty, so now we're here on the desktop. Now we have 2 drives, and we need to make a storage pool and a volume. So that's just a group of hard drives together. And then do we want to make it a volume for people to do make folders on? So let's go ahead and create now. And as you can see, well, we'll go back to that. It'll talk you through all this other stuff. Like I said, you have drives. Drives make up a storage pool, and then you can have volumes on a storage pool. All right. So we have the different types of RAID here. So SHR, you need a minimum of 1 drive. So I could do that. And another drive, if you have 2, one of them is going to be used for storage. The other one is going to ghost it. And if anything fails, everything is shadowed on the other drive. There are different types of RAID. So if I use RAID 1, you need a minimum of 2 drives. And again, it's still going to do the same thing. The SHR is a little bit better because most of the time you have to have the same drives of the same size and stuff like that. And there are different type of RAIDs you could do. You can do basic where there is no backup at all. If the drive fails, you lose everything. RAID 0 will combine the 2 drives into one humongous drive. That's up to you. I'm going to use SHR. So like with my bigger NASs that have different drives, I have like the one that has 8 bays. 6 of them are for storage. 2 of them are for backup in case anything happens. But I'm just going to go with SHR because I can't add any more drives to this. So that'll be fine for me. So which drives we're going to use? We're going to select both of them. Next. Yes, it's going to wipe out everything. I can skip the check. You can perform them if you want to, if you have old drives. But again, all these drives are brand new. What size do you want to allocate? I'm just going to click max. So it's going to use the full size. Again, normally you would think it's adding up. 1 drive is going to be a backup. That's what that is. And we just apply all that. Yes, it's going to delete everything. We know. Alrighty, so our drive is made here. So it's processing and optimizing everything. And we can come out of here. Now what we need to do is come to our control panel, and we need to make some shared folders. So again, I'm thinking of this as a backup for the stuff that you have on your recordings and things like that. So for me, similar to how I have mine, we're going to make 1 drive and say 1 folder, and we're going to call this, I just like to call it the media dump, because that's where we're just going to drop everything. You can give a description if you want to. Where is it located? That's where you pick the volume. We only have one, so that's where it's going. You can hide it from your network. So when somebody opens up their computer on Windows or the Mac, it won't show up. You would have to log in to do it. I'm also going to make a recycling bin, and I'm going to restrict it to administrators only. So when we open this up to everybody that's on the media, if somebody deletes something, it's hidden from them. It's going to be put inside the recycling bin that no one can see except for administrators. So if somebody accidentally deletes something, it's not completely gone, and only admins can restore it. So I like to put that in place. We do next. We can encrypt it if we want to. And that's it. So I would have one for that. When we start adding accounts, we can give people access. So say the trustees need a place to have backup of their financial stuff. You can make a folder, make an account for them, and they're the only ones who can access it outside of administrators. But we'll go over that as well too. So we got our OneDrive. So when people are recording service, they can drop everything here. Let's make another one. And actually, no, I'm not going to do it this way. We're going to use some of the other features that I know that are built into the Synology. This isn't, like I said, it's not just a regular hard drive on the network. It's intelligent. It can actually run other things like packages. So if I open this up, let's agree to the terms. There are a bunch of packages that are included that you can actually run and make this NAS on your network do a whole bunch of other things. Like you can install antivirus on it. So anytime somebody uploads files, there's an antivirus on the NAS, the scanning stuff. You can do an audio station to where it's actually, you can upload music and it will play, and on your network, smart TVs can see it and play music or movies. The hyper backup, if you want to start backing up your computers, that's another tool that can do that. You can make an iTunes server, an LDAP server. Back in my days when I used to do that, I was an LDAP administrator at Capital One. A bunch of other stuff that you can do. Different types of servers, SAN servers. I like to have the storage analyzer. That just tells you how your hard drives are looking and stuff like that. So I'm going to install that. You can have a calendar. So if you're doing this for the media, you can have a calendar there that's shared and have everything organized. You can make a mail server on there. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff that you're going to do. This could be a replacement for your DVR. If you have security cameras, you can run an app to where it runs, and this is where it backs up everything. I'm not going to do that, but there are a bunch of things that you can do. But there are some things I am going to turn on. So I'm going to turn on the Synology Photos. Well, install it, that is. So this is going to be an intelligent way, kind of like Google Photos, but it's your own, to where it can organize and keep your images sorted by people and all this other stuff. The same things that we've come to love with all the modern technology if you have online storage for your photos and videos. So let that finish installing. All right, we got that one installed. What else we have? We can also install like a video station if you wanted to have other files go out there like that. And then you have other stuff like I talked about it before. You can actually run a web server on here. So if you want to have a FAQ, kind of like a knowledge base for your media ministry, you can have that installed here. So like you can install WordPress and all this other stuff. I'm not going to do that one because it's going to take a little bit of time to go through that one. But then you also have some other packages. You can have a Plex server, all this other fancy stuff. But again, we're just doing the basics. All right. Just a place to store everything. All right. So we got that done. So now what we need to do is let's make an account for our media ministry. Again, I am donating this one to Antioch. So I'm going to use their account. And I'm going to use the same username and password that is on the computer. That kind of makes it easy for logging in. So let's go ahead and make an account. And we put it in our group, just users. That's not going to be an admin. So again, here's the drive that we just made. We want to give them full read and write access to that. Again, they're not going to be able to get access to the recycling bin, but we want them to be able to write and delete from that. All right, let's do next. You can set how much they can write. We don't need that. And all these other features, we're not really. I'm going to turn on FTP for right now because that's just something that I have set up with their ATEM and everything like that. So we can write a script so that the ATEM can dump the file over here automatically. That's something else we'll do maybe in a later video if y'all are interested in that. All right, go to next. All that other stuff we don't need. And that's it. So when we set this up on the network, it will show up and we can add it on our network. So what's some other drives other folders that we can make? So when we install that other one, we do have some other folders. Let's get out of here real quick. And if we go to our folders, see under our personal, there's kind of like a storage space, like a user drive just for every account that you make. So inside of here, so the media ministry has their own file. It's kind of like your own desktop. So you can actually use this and put your documents here as another backup by default. And again, like I said, you can make as many files as you want, folders that you want, as long as you got the space for it. Let's make one more here. And then this one, we're already going to do photos. We're already going to do that. What else could we probably use this for? Let's do music. So if we want to actually, if you still have some MP3s and stuff locally, you can jump it on here instead of just streaming everything. And we'll keep this here. And in here, again, I'm an administrator as well as the admin, and that account is disabled. We can give them read-only access, but I'm going to give them read and write to that. And that's it. All right. So now, if you're on a Windows computer, and I'm going to do this again when I'm actually at the church. If I come over here to my computer, these are all my drives on my NAS is here. If we come down here to our network, because remember we set it to be able to be shown on the network, and there it is. So if we come here, we have to log in with our username and password. So let me log in with the one that I made for the media ministry. If I can type right. So as we log in, this is what we have access to. We have our home drive. This is our own personal. Inside of here, see, we can't see anything else because we didn't give anybody permission. They have access to their home drive, but not everyone else's. We have access to the media dump. There's the recycling bin. And again, see, we can't access that because only admins can. All right, so that's working. We go to music. So if we had music in here, we can just leave it in here. And we can, if we had the iTunes server or whatever, it would organize our stuff here. So for me, how I keep my stuff, because again, there's my media dump right here on my Synology, and just the years that I've backed up stuff, we're just going to follow the same thing. But let's do one thing first. Say we want to make this as a drive instead of everybody going through here. Same thing as with the Mac, just a little bit different, but I mean, it's relatively the same. We're going to come in here and say, I want to right click on this media drive, and I want to map this to the network. It's going to give you whatever drive that you have available, or you can pick. I'm using almost every one except for my W drive. So that's the one that pops up for me. I want to save my login information so that I don't have to keep putting it in every time when I access it. We do finish. And now to access that is our W drive. So if I come here, there's my W drive right there. And I just go here, and now I can easily say you have your presentation software. That's what I should have made. A presentation software so you can dump that stuff over there, your assets, your video announcements, any of your stuff here. So for me, I'm going to come in here and make a folder and just call this 2025. And this is how we're going to just start organizing our stuff. I know they have some stuff in 2024 and 2023. So now we have a place that has a redundant backup locally that if anything happens, this drive is going to back this up. We can add multiple users to it. And again, the main thing is that you have access to this. So if we were doing video editing and I want to go back, just like how I do mine, we keep an archive of our stuff and we can go back. Like we've had preachers that have passed. Like this happened even at my dad's memorial service, like years in celebration. He passed in 2003. I mean, they obviously didn't have a NAS. They had like video cassettes, but they were able to play back a video of my dad preaching, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. But again, you can do stuff like that. We've had funerals of people who sang in the choir, and we were able to bring them up in a memorial video, or you just use that as, you know, your own custom B-roll. You have your own stuff in your own archive. And like I said, there are apps that you can include with this. And maybe I should show that, because that's what I mentioned as well too. So if we come back over here, you can link all this stuff into apps. So let's go to the Synology app. So inside of here, there are a bunch of apps that you can have on your phone so that you can access all of this stuff yourself. So like if you have your drive, so now it's just like your own cloud storage that is routing back to your NAS that you have. So I have the same thing on my phone. So when I'm backing up photos, instead of me backing them up only to Google, to the cloud service, the photos, it will also back up to my NAS so that I have redundancy on both. And I have ownership of them. If they ever decide to change, I still have a backup of everything that I have in my NAS. They have a bunch of other apps as well too. If you had the security cams, it would be there. There's the photo one that you can sync your photos. If you have a bigger one, you can actually have it to where you can have a chat function built in, so you can talk with that. Your file server, your mail server, just a bunch of stuff. Your music. So if you were playing music from there, a ton of things that the Synology NAS has. And again, when I get my hands on different NASs like the U-Greens and the Black Hawks or whatever they're called, if I get access, do they send me one or I play with something like that? We'll see what they can do. But again, I've been using the Synology NAS for over 11 years. I'm very happy with those. And again, it doesn't matter what type you get, to be quite honest. At this point, because the rules are changing, I really think that ministries should invest in some type of NAS so that you are backing up the stuff. A lot of stuff is not physical anymore. You need somewhere from a redundancy standpoint to back up what you're doing. And this NAS that you can buy, whatever size drive that you want, has a very, very low door of entry. Because again, I use like 200 gigs of Google storage, and that's like, I think like what, $29 a year or $20 a month, or I can't even remember. It's something like that. And honestly, say it's $20 a month. After that, after a year, that's $240. That's about the same price, a little bit lower. I mean, that's more than what just the shell of this NAS is going to cost. And then once you add in the hard drives, that was another $200. So after 2 years, you've already paid back your own storage, and that's for only 200 gigs. This is 4 terabytes that we have. So we got more space, but link is going to be down below. Let me know if you have any other questions. Cause like I said, that NAS is going to a church. I have 3 of them here personally that I use all the time and been using for years. Let me know if you have any other questions, and any of the companies out there that make them. I've reached out to y'all. If you want me to check them out and see how they can be implemented inside of a church, hey, you got the about in my channel. You can send that out. But again, for y'all that are watching, let me know if you have any other questions. Links are going to be down below to all the NASs that I use and the newer version of this one to get you started. Please don't wait till the last minute to have some type of redundant backup to keep your stuff. Last thing you need is to miss the deadline, and then all your videos that are like on Facebook or any other platform are gone. And just think, if Facebook is using this, doing this, don't think some other companies might do this in the future. Prepare now so you can avoid any of that stuff. So I think that's about it. So if you like this type of content, appreciate a like, consider subscribing, hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thanks for watching, folks. This is AJ. Catch you on the next video. Later.